Hello guys, this is Ken. Today I'm gonna share my Dual-Demonlore build guide with you. Probably the build with the highest DPS potential. So if you are interested in the Demon-Lore build, you must not miss this video. First, let's take a look on this footage about using the scroll against the flow with a Demon-Lore in order to stack up the damage buff from 0 to 99. And then we will find out the efficiency of the gun's damage buff. One thing to bear in mind is that since Demon-Lore is fire damage type, it is 50% more effectiveness against the flash, which is red color HP bar, and only deal half damage against yellow and blue color armor or shield bar. So the numbers may not be so consistent, but we are going to compare the numbers on the flash. So let me recap a bit. At stack 0, the damage on the flash is about 449, and at stack 99, which is fully buffed, the damage on flash is about 4400. So the conclusion is simple that the gun has a 10 times damage potential if you could manage to keep the buffs forever. So you may ask, how strong is that 10 times damage potential? Well, let's take a look on this final boss fight footage using Dual-Demonlore. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a Hawkeye and my weapon didn't got the Gemini inscription for sharing the critical multiplier of both guns. So this is not an optimal perfect example, and you may also see that I didn't manage my left hand's magazine well, that I did not dash frequently to refill my magazine before it goes to 0 for a few times. So I lose many left hand's damage buffs. But still, the damage DPS is insane. Then you may say, oh, we just need an advanced depot, then the build is done. Yes, right, you are absolutely right. But what if we could not get the advanced depot? Are there any other ways to bypass the reload? But before we are going to answer this question, let's take a brief look on the pros and cons of the Dual-Demonlore build. Every con has two sides. For the pros, it is very obvious that it has very high DPS and can be very tanky because we got the life leech and we can always kill the monsters before they can attack us. So actually very high DPS is a kind of defense. Well, for the cons, the biggest disadvantage is that we need to unlock this gun by killing 100 lobsters by fire damage. It is a nightmare because it may require 30 or 40 games to unlock it, because every game you get only a few lobsters. And in some cases, when you are using bloody ammo, you may need to hold down both mouse buttons for a very long time, and you are continuously shooting, and it is actually very noisy. Except you get the skateboarder or the advanced depot, then they will improve the quality of life of this build greatly. And now we are going to talk about how to bypass the reload. Some of you may already recognize that I have talked about at least two methods. The first one is against the flow, and the second one is the skateboarder. And if someone already watched my previous videos about this build, bloody ammo is another method to bypass the reloading, other than using an advanced depot. So the first method is to utilize the against the flow that regenerates 10% of your magazine per second whenever you deal damage. it is better to use a weapon with Gemini inscription to share magazine size, like with Big Hippo or the Thunder Gloves. Both of them got 18 magazine base size. But this method is very clunky and difficult to use, and you need to be very skillful in aiming because you cannot always shooting ammo. And the second method is to utilize the bloody ammo, which simply shoots your HP as your ammo. So we will need the flesh and bones and fire enthusiast to regenerate our HP in order to sustain continuous firing. As long as we are firing, we don't need to reload and we can keep the damage buffs. But this method is very noisy. Not everyone likes it. So another better method is to utilize the skateboarder that whenever you dash, you will refill your magazine without reloading. You may also need a propulsion device and the advanced jogger in order to let you dash frequently. So now let's take a closer look on how each method works. The first one is against the flow. I would suggest you to use the Gemini inscription function to share the magazine size with Big Hippo or Thunder Gloves or maybe even the Fire Dragon. I would say the best weapon is the Thunder Gloves because it has long range and it do not reduce your running speed. And of course, you may also use other weapons randomly generated with large magazine size and a Gemini inscription. So for the bloody ammo method, it is simple. We need flesh and bones and a fire enthusiast, plus our demon lord's fire damage, so we can leech life to regenerate HP and use HP as our ammo. And because we do not have energy shield, you will also need a Resolute to improve your movement speed and your damage. And if you are lucky, you may also get a Veteran that increase your maximum HP if you kill enemy within 5 meters. So if you got a large HP pool, then it is very beneficial for you to sustain shooting. And remember, one main point is that do not stop shooting. You must keep shooting. Another more advanced method to regenerate HP is to utilize the Sanguine Relic Scroll. But this scroll will make you more fragile. You need to take 50% more damage. So you may also need a Spirit Thin Line or the Close Call to make it practical. And then you no longer need to rely on the fire damage to burn your enemy and trigger the fire enthusiast. So now you can also use the elemental power to further boost your fire damage. But one serious problem regarding utilizing the bloody ammo is that you cannot carry your damage buff stacks pass through the maps. You need to stop shooting when you pass to the next area, so you lose all your stacks. But no worry, because the Demon Lord is a high firing rate SMG. If your aiming skill is good, you will recharge your 99 stacks instantly, like within 10 seconds. And now we have the most fancy method without the advanced deport. It is the skateboarder. As we have talked about before, you will need a propulsion device and an advanced jogger. You may also utilize other dash-related scrolls, like the Strategic Advantage and Wind Rider, and a Magic Watch. The Magic Watch is such a huge boost for your dash because there is a 33% chance to reset the cooldown of your dash. And you may also utilize the safety measures or the speedy pursuit for more damage output. Well, I think I don't need to explain about the advanced deport, but the common problem of advanced deport is that people usually forget about carefully aiming, especially when they got the Twin Gunner Ascension, which is not a level 3 that will double your ammo consumption. If you are not carefully aiming and wasting a lot of your ammo, you will lose all your ammo quickly. And then we are going to talk about some crazy good combos with the Demon-Lore. One thing to bear in mind is the deadly counter, because deadly counter allows you to do all critical damage whenever you are hit by the enemies. And it greatly improves the stacking rate of your damage buff, because your damage buff requires you to do critical damage. Well, in some cases, if you are so lucky to pick up a Demon-Lore with the auto-lock exclusive inscription, then you may also need a Death Hands allows you to reduce ammo consumption to 0 for 2 seconds whenever you kill an enemy. Then with this combo, it is able to wipe out the whole area's enemy without consuming a single ammo quickly. Well, for the Hawkeye, I don't think I need to explain too much, but bear in mind that you should keep shooting their weakness. Otherwise, you lose 50% damage. So the requirement of using Hawkeye is that you got a good aiming skill to keep shooting their weaknesses or the heads. And because the Demon-Lore has a quite large recoil and not very accurate, so when you are using Hawkeye, you may need to keep in a close range combat. And because today our main theme is about getting rid of reloading, I think I may also need to introduce the special usage of the Elemental Cube, which boosts a single elemental damage. But the Elemental Cube's buff will change into random element if you reload. So if we are able to bypass the reload, we may also utilize the Elemental Cube as a damage buff. So it is simple. Before you are gonna start the fighting, you need to reroll the Elemental Cube into Fire Element, and then you use your method to bypass the reload and keep do not reload. And then the Elemental Cube's elemental damage buff can sustain forever. And then we are going to talk about the Ascensions choice. In my opinion, I think I would like to choose the potential high DPS and the survivability combination, which require battle test and a golden comeback or the close call. I personally more prefer this version because the Demon-Lore's inborn damage is already very high, but if you are very obsessed about DPS, you may also choose to use Twin Gunner or the lucky ammos. One thing to bear in mind is that if you are lucky to get the close call at level 3, then you may not need a Spirit Feline in order to use the Dual Edge and the Sanguine Relic without any worry about taking so much damage. So about the weapons inscriptions choice. In some cases, if you are not able to get a Hawkeye, sometimes if your gun got plus projectiles, it would be more preferable. But in some case, if you could able to get a Hawkeye, maybe you should use the shared critical multiplier. And in some cases, if you are not able to get a skateboarder or the advanced deport, you may also like to have the weapon with Mr. Shot return ammo in the magazine or 25% chance to recover 50% ammo to magazine when you kill an enemy. They greatly reduce your ammo consumption. And other useful inscriptions are increased critical multiplier, increased lucky shot chance, or some .0 something projectiles. And some special inscriptions like auto log, they are very good for clearing small monsters. You may also try it. So the take-home message about why choosing Demon-Lore is that Demon-Lore get the highest damage potential in my opinion, and especially when you are using it with the dog character And if you are able to manage to get the Germany inscription to share critical multiplier and the Hawkeye, that would be insane. Thank you guys, thank you for watching. I know this build guide may be a little bit boring and there are so many information, but I think these information are the essential ingredients for you to have a successful demon lore run other than just having an advanced depot. And please remember to like and subscribe and comment. Thank you. See you guys next time.